The Dauntless. To be honest, I expected these earlier, Admiral Cistern remarks as he overlooks the designs of the many different styles of space stations that had been handed to him in an overstuffed folder with a USB drive taped to the side. Apologies, sir. Everyone we tapped in to help went off on their own tangents, and before we realized what was going on, we had 50 designs, rather than 5 designs with 10 people at the helm. Everyone's interested, and you'll see more than a few designs from popular science fiction. If I hear one more Star Trek joke, Agent O'Brien mutters before sighing. Apologies, sir. I've been bombarded with the same joke until it became tedious at best. You should hear all the Shodan cracks for being named Janet Polito, the good doctor remarks, and Agent O'Brien chuckles. Fair enough, ma'am, he says politely as Admiral Cistern allows only a tight smile. Very well. I do hope you've cobbled together something exceptional with the additional time you've taken the liberty of awarding yourselves. Apologies, sir, Agent O'Brien says somewhat nervously. We'll skip the disciplinary actions this time, Agent and Doctor. This time. I'm rather eager to get to the results. Thank you, sir. Now, as to our final design, it's on the very top as is only appropriate. You'll notice that it's in fact 2 designs, both wildly different but of incredible potential. I'm seeing 2 wheel-like structures designed to rotate in a vacuum. Hardly revolutionary, Admiral Cistern remarks as he scans the rough blueprints. They work in tandem, sir. Powerful magnets and basic rail systems can be used to launch and catch shuttles into and out of cruel space in order to facilitate the movement of goods and people with a minimum of fuss. With some fine-tuning, we could have these structures so close to one another that it would be a simple matter to shuttle people from the first station to the second without any axiom-based technology. These would function as a 2-step last-stop system for leaving cruel space. With these small, controlled shuttles, we can stop anything stupid like a stowaway getting themselves killed with null exposure and maintain a steady stream. Think of it like a bus or bullet train system. Dr. Polito explains and Admiral Cistern nods. From the looks of it, you think the idea of having numerous such stations and travel between each one being a primary goal. One dedicated to mining, one to commerce, another to residential areas, training, and other such things. A city in space, sir. Each station a district by itself rather than a singular massive construct. It also means that there are several layers of redundancies, as each station will have some bare essentials allowing it to subsist alone. Effectively, each one will be perfectly functional alone and massively more efficient as a unit. Agent O'Brien explains, and Admiral Cistern nods before frowning somewhat. That leaves a fairly large weakness in the form of the shuttles themselves. It's a good idea, allowing for modular void-based habitation and construction. However, an offensive force can do ruinous damage to the community if they target these shuttle lanes. How do you propose to get around that? Admiral Cistern asks. Sir? His desk comm goes off. He presses the button to let them know he's listening. Speaker incoming. Oh dear, I advise you both to stand aside. Hurricane Tycanped is a feathery menace. Generally, the bookcases are at a safe distance. Admiral Cistern advises the 2 as he closes the folder and sets it aside. Agent O'Brien and Dr. Polito quickly back away just in time to avoid the Lady Tycanped does not charge in but rather stands in the doorway. Grand Admiral Garfield Cistern, first of the undaunted, she announces dramatically and receives only a mildly raised eyebrow in response. Lady Jacqueline Tycanped, Speaker of the Council? He returns and her tail puffs out as a cascade of white feathers. Why are you here, interrupting a meeting with my subordinates? I am... Wait, what? Lady Tycanped cuts herself off and leans into the room to see O'Brien and Polito staring back at her. I wasn't told about a meeting. You ignored everything I said as you puffed yourself up and preened before opening the door, Admiral Cistern's secretary protests. Yes, I did. She remarks with surprising humility. This piques Admiral Cistern's curiosity. This is a rapid shift in behavior if there ever was one. He turns it over in his mind and lands on Trooper and Nerd Squad member Amadi Atagoki and his relationship to Lady Tycanped's cousin, Miss Abigail Tycanped. What is this about, madam? Admiral Cistern asks politely. I understand that with you humans you usually have the men ask for the woman's hand in marriage. However, as I highly doubt you will ever ask for mine, I am asking for yours instead, Lady Tycanped says grandly. Excuse me? I am asking you to marry me. I understand that marriage means something different for humans. However, I am asking for a more Pavarus-style marriage. I don't expect your love. I don't expect anything from you aside from the right to claim that we are married and to help me in the mothering of my children. If anything happens to dissolve the marriage, the fault will automatically be considered. Lady Tykenped's explanation pitch is interrupted by Admiral Cistern raising his hand for silence. Madam, while I understand that the marriages of Centris are practical for the galaxy at large and are in fact a continuation of very common practices that most races perform, I'm afraid that there's an enormous culture clash occurring. Not only have I not entered any form of Centris marriage, but none of my men have or likely will. He explains, and Lady Tykenped looks dejected for a moment. We prefer more passion and affection in our marriages. What you have proposed to me is more akin to forming a clan with a single male participant as the hub around which the entire social structure turns. Such a thing is not overly disagreeable, however. It is not a marriage as nearly any human alive would consider it. So you accept? She asks. If my first wife will agree, then we shall try. Admiral Cistern remarks, and Lady Tykenped looks shocked before her mind visibly races. Ambassador Nictatal of Bruel. Very well, Lady Tykenped muses. Excuse me, I need to make a call. With that, she leaves the doorway, and Admiral Cistern watches her fetch her personal communicator out of her cleavage as the door closes. That was unexpected, Agent O'Brien remarks, and Admiral Cistern shakes his head. Am I missing something, sir? Lady Tykenped is a Pavarus. Once she sets her mind to something, then there is little, if anything, she won't do to achieve it. It appears that she considers being wed to me her next main goal, which means she will be both persistent and shameless in her wooing of me. I have little doubt she will achieve what she wants, however. If it takes the form she imagines, I will be most surprised. Much like her political career, I imagine, Dr. Polito says with a bit of a smirk. Indeed, she'll find being in a relationship with a human man to be a bit more work than she expected. Greater work, greater reward, sir, Agent O'Brien says blandly before holding up a finger. The door opens again, and Lady Tykenped struts into the room with an enormous smile. Your wife would like to speak with you, hubby, she coos as she holds out her gilded communicator to Admiral Cistern. He holds it up and then brings up his own to transfer the call over to his system, a trick that had taken an irritatingly long time for Philip to teach him. From his communicator, he places things into projection mode, and a holographic representation of Nicta appears. So she is right there with you. How interesting, Ambassador Tal says. While I understand that there is no form of ceremony for such things, this still seems rather... Admiral Cistern is cut off by a coffee being placed to his side by Sir Philip, who had pointedly not been there moments prior. Thank you, Philip. It's fine. I've already accepted a few concessions from her and told her exactly how she's going to behave like this. After all three of us are very busy, very important people. While it would be nice to indulge every now and again, we must put our duties first. The burden of command. Ambassador Tal explains as Admiral Cistern takes a sip of the steaming hot drink and thinks, this is good, but still something he struggles to grow used to. Yes, effectively seducing and marrying the Speaker of the Council is politically a slam dunk. Her power may be ceremonial almost exclusively, but power is power and should not be scoffed at. Regardless, the idea of having to do so himself, he buries that thought before it can fully form. The leader that would issue commands they themselves are unwilling to perform is a poor one indeed. Very well. I appear to have been argued into a corner, but I wish one thing to be clear with you, madam. And that would be? Lady Tykenped asks with a sultry look over Admiral Cistern. Not a single one of us is going to be some simple trophy nor a status symbol. This is a partnership of equals. We are each and all expected to behave with decorum and for the betterment of our peoples. Be you of Bruel, of Centris, or of the Undaunted, Admiral Cistern says, and Lady Tykenped looks somewhat surprised before smiling. Agreed, however, I would also like to stipulate that you should consider a revitalizing coma. I do like the matured aesthetic you have going, but if you are brought low by something so very easily countered and contained, it would be most unfortunate. If this relationship with myself, yourself, and Ambassador Tal is to last, then it must be allowed to last and truly last in a practical scale, and not the primitive short lives that your people have been regretfully subjected to. Very well, now I don't wish to be rude, my dear. However, I was in the middle of a meeting with Agent O'Brien and Dr. Polito when you arrived. If you don't mind, Admiral Cistern asks. Perhaps the madam would care to see your quarters, sir? If she's going to be a common sight on the Dauntless, then it would behoove her to have an understanding of the ship and its layout. Sir Philip offers, and Admiral Cistern nods. An excellent idea. I do need to go over these blueprints further, Admiral Cistern says, gesturing towards the folder, and before he can say anything else, Lady Tykenped grabs it and glances inside. He takes a sip of the steaming hot coffee so as not to say something he might regret, although there is a definite twitch around the eyes. Oh, a transit system between multiple space installations. Interesting. It will certainly serve as excellent training and employment for a great many beginner pilots just getting used to flying in a vacuum, she says, and Admiral Cistern pauses and considers. She has knowledge of value in this regard? Interesting. It will indeed. What Agent O'Brien and Dr. Polito have been proposing is designs for the stations nearest to cruel space to maximize the protection of those within and without the phenomenon and facilitate the emigration of my people from the homeworld. Do you have anything to suggest to what you see, madam? Sir Philip asks, and Lady Tykenped quickly flips through the papers and scans them at a blurring speed. O'Brien and Polito give each other a glance as the mental image of the bimbo that wormed her way into a position she couldn't possibly deserve takes a hit. Communication, construction, residential, manufacture, refining, mining, transportation, training, none of these space station designs have a dedicated area for diplomatic talks, something many peoples will be clamoring for, and it may even be seen as a form of insult if no such embassy stations are on offer. You're also missing luxury recreation, although that could be folded into the recreational station design. She muses out loud. You could work a large indoor garden as part of the hydroponics in the luxury station to both help with the atmosphere and with the food production for more exotic or perhaps less exotic fare. Color me impressed, Lady Tykenped. I had no idea you held such interests, Sir Philip notes. Oh, it's nothing. Just a hobby at times. Lady Tykenped waves it off, and Admiral Cistern hides a slight smile behind another sip of coffee. Perhaps this will not be an onerous addition to his duties. The Bounty Hunters. Oh, joy, another half-dead bounty left at our doorstep. How nice, the Hat mutters as he picks up the note left on the badly beaten Greater Plains Nagasha woman to turn it around and find a poem on the back. Roses are red, violets are blue, I like you. Let's fuck. Soul of a poet, your stalker. Think it's the girl you threw into a wall? Vexa, Mr. T asks. Bet your ass it is, the Hat remarks as he turns the poem over the other side. Poetry skills aside, she at least knows I'm not a cheap date. 100,000 credits for this woman, the price a child molester responsible for several maimings in her escape from the law gets. They really know how to pick them, Mr. T remarks as he hefts up the heavy woman and tosses her over his shoulder. It takes a little axiom to do it without strain. You need to talk to your girl. Saying nothing after one gift is a little off, twice is just plain rude. True enough, you sure you got that girl? The Hat asks, and Mr. T nods as he grabs more of the Nagasha's tail. Yeah, just remember to call in backup if you start getting in over your head, lover boy, Mr. T says, and calmly drags the pedophile through the doorway and into the stasis chambers. When the Nagasha next wakes up, it will be in a jail cell in the jurisdiction of the people she hurt. He adjusts his hat and slightly turns the clasp on the band, and activating the tracking beacon but not the distress beacon. A slight tug of his jacket and he feels the hidden weapons move a little and starts walking forward. His eyes scan the area and he notices the reflection of a large figure not too far away. A few steps, and he quickly darts around and swings around the corner to cut off Vexa's little retreat. You were a lot bolder in the arena. I was trying to pin you down and conquer you. Wooing is so much stranger. It's hard! The living 10-foot weapon of teeth, claws, plasma-resistant fur, and sheer muscle in a ridiculously female form protests. He can barely see her face past her gigantic chest, and he knows that through that fur she's blushing. A blooded killer, an arena fighter, and she's shy in front of a boy she likes. Wow. Really? So just talking to me is hard? Yes. But you're doing it now. Just fuck already, another Crimson Hewer screams from nearby. Can it or I put you through a bulkhead, the Hat barks at them. What does, one of them asks. It means be quiet or I get violent. Threaten a girl with a good time, why don't you? Is all the response his threatening brings them, and he sighs in frustration. Twice now you've left propositions on the bodies of beaten opponents for me. It's clear as day you want me, so there's something you need to know. Here it comes, one of Vex's friends from nearby gushes, and the Hat slowly turns to glare at them. Keep it quiet or you're going out the airlocks and I'm not going to do the courtesy of opening them first. He threatens them. No damaging the station, smartass, a voice clearly out of the EFL says from nearby, and the Hat scans the area. And where the hell are you? He demands crossly. Near. How many people are watching this? A lot. Oh, that really helps. Actual numbers, soldier? Sir. I don't know, sir. If you think this is bad, then I could... Vexa begins. No, we're hashing this out now. You've made your intentions clear, so I need to make mine clear as well, the Hat says, and Vexa nods. All right. The long and short of things is that myself and the rest of the Chainbreaker crew will be leaving in a few months. If you want an actual long-term relationship, then you'll have to come with us on the ship. Holy shit! Is he proposing to her? One of the nearby Crimson Hewers exclaims. Excuse me? Vexa says before suddenly charging off and barreling right into the nearby group with a roar. The Hat just casually walks up and doesn't bother turning the corner to directly witness the violence, but he's got a good view of it through reflective maintenance panel on the far wall. There are claws out, but no weapons. Some blood seems to be flying, but it's otherwise a friendly match. No weapons have been drawn, so he's fairly sure it's friendly. Need some help in there? The fight instantly pauses, some of the girls mid-swipe at his call. Vexa says. Anyways, the crew I'm on moves to where the work is, and our stay on Octarine Spin will be our longest yet in any one place. There's nothing anyone can do to keep me from leaving with the Chainbreaker, but there's nothing stopping you from coming with us. The ship has a lot of internal living space that we're still upgrading from when it was a slaver ship, but there's room enough for many, many people. But you're bounty hunters. Nowhere near as fun as being a mercenary, Vexa says, stalking over and leaning over the corner to see him below her. A bounty hunter is a mercenary that's much more proactive looking for work. We don't wait for the jobs to come to us, we go to them. We've taken mercenary work and helped clear out entire camps, bases, and even organizations in a single night. We've hunted animals so gigantic that they're credible threats to starships, to say nothing of how often the criminals of the week that we hunt are not to be underestimated. Vex is a Crimson Hewer. She won't give that up, one of the girls shouts as the small crowd of black and dark red-furred Canadors rush up to crowd the mouth of the alleyway they'd been brawling in seconds prior in a show of solidarity. What exactly are the Crimson Hewers? I know you're a mercenary clan, but what does that even mean? The Hat asks. Well, it's an extended family. Some by blood, most by adoption. The younger girls dye their fur black and red, and the elders are allowed to express their own colors. We're together. Nothing's as strong as a Canador, so we stay with Canador. Everything and everyone else just breaks, Vexa explains. When we wear our armor, we're unified and ready for a war, because that's what Canador are for, another of the Crimson Hewers exclaims. We're ladies of battle and strength, taking only the best jobs and the ones that interest us. We're unbeaten in the field. Anyone crazy enough to try are laid low in response. Except for me, it seems. The Hat cuts off whatever bit of self-aggrandization is coming next. These girls are no doubt fresh recruits. He should have known as Vexa was looking for patterns to paint on her armor. A veteran would already have those kinds of patterns, no doubt. I heard about that. The older girls took a look at you guys and came back all smiles just a little while ago. What did you do? What I had to, no more, no less, the Hat remarks. Why are we even doing this to begin with? It's Vexa that's fixated on him. Because we swore to share a husband, and if you won't help me get our husband, then you're out of the deal, Vexa snaps at the complainer. That's unfair, she whines. No, it's fair, the Hat adds in just to stir the pot a little. The whole half-dozen of over-muscled murder machines pause and lean out so that all of them can get a good look at him. He offers a cheeky grin. These girls aren't in their armor. It'll only take a touch of Axiom to completely even the playing field. Then his considerably smaller size puts him under most of their attacks, and the advantage squarely in his corner. Why don't we just grab him and go? There's 7 of us, 1 of him. You volunteering to lose a limb, then? The Hat asks casually as he reaches up to tap the clasp on his hat as he adjusts the headwear. A single button is pressed for a single moment. The message is sent. Send them in quiet. Go on, he's not that tough, one of them goads. Yes, he is, Tang says from nearby, and the Hat smirks. He really is, Dong remarks from somewhere above. You boys are getting quick, the Hat remarks as he suppresses a laugh. How many of you are here? Vexa asks, and the Hat shrugs. More than 2, Dong remarks, and Tang chuckles. Ladies, the Hat begins. As amusing as all these arguments and posturing is, we do need to get to a point. One I'd like someone to make sometime soon. I suspect it's Vexa who's been leaving the bounties outside the chain breaker for me to find, as well as the poetry. You have my attention, and if nothing else, good manners dictate that I offer you a chance in exchange for those gifts. Do you want to take it or not? Yes! Yes, I want to take the chance! Come on! We're going on a date! Vexa explains before quickly grabbing the Hat by the arm and dragging him off. Dong and Tang follow closely, but she only carries him to a nearby bar where she sits him on her lap and orders a hard drink for them both as her clan sisters crowd around. Looks like a whole lot of nothing, Tang remarks from above as Dong observes from the shadows of a doorway across the street. Maybe, maybe not. They're not the smartest bunch, but who knows exactly how stupid they might get with some drinks in them. You have read the medical scans on Canador, right? Dong asks into his communicator. Bossman made it required reading when Onyx joined up. 1 mega kidney and a liver, that's all she wrote for toxin resistances. We haven't tested them, but they're suspected to be weaker than our own, despite Onyx keeping up fairly well with our food. She avoids the hard stuff with a passion, something these girls aren't doing. In a galaxy where youth is a choice of fashion, the difference between the young and old is experience alone, Tang remarks in a slightly wizened tone. Dong just snorts in amusement. Well, then, behold as 7 bimbos aged 20 years before our very eyes. The men snort in amusement and watch as the Hat buys the next round and throws it back with ease, even as the girls start plying him with stories. Seems to be going well, Tang remarks. Think they actually understood the terms he set out? Dong asks. Who knows? I have a hard enough time figuring out human women. I'm not even trying to understand literal aliens. Let alone land shark lion bimbos. Can I just say that I love how word salad the descriptions around the galaxy are? Word salad? Weird way of saying completely freaking insane, Tang remarks and Dong smirks. Turn of phrase, nothing more. By the way, did you spot it? Dong asks. The older and more experienced Crimson Hewers watching their juniors and giggling like schoolgirls? No, I haven't. What's it look like? Tang asks, and Dong mentally concedes that asking if the sniper saw something is in the camp of a stupid question. Okay, fair enough. What's your opinion on them? They're not in armor, and from what the Hat was able to get out of these girls, that's a good sign. They're not Crimson Hewers if they're not in some kind of armor, meaning that these girls are not only peaceful but intending to stay that way. Actually, that's just for the junior Crimson Hewers, the reckless young girls who haven't even seen a century of combat, a new voice says over the communicators. How long have you been listening? Dong asks. The entire time. What? You think you're the only ones worried about your own? Your little rule is harsh but fair. After all, expecting a warrior to abandon their way of life for a bit of entertainment is just foolish. But asking the girls to leave isn't? Tang asks, curiously. Crimson Hewer sects divide all the time. So long as the traditions are kept, then you can be a Crimson Hewer by yourself and entire systems away from the nearest clan sister. We're a way of life, much like bounty hunting, or being undaunted. Tang, I hate it when we're not the only smart ones around. Dong laments to the amusement of their watchers. Dude, shut up, Tang says over the laughter of the elder Hewers. The horizontal 230 vertical, Dong says, and Tang looks to his right and up as described on the double clock. I see her, yellow fur, jet black highlights. Prominent scar across the lips. Tang reads out and the laughter stops. Very good. How'd you spot me? The Crimson Hewer asks curiously. The levity is gone. Look to your left, ma'am. You'll see a reflection of a reflection. In that reflection is a shadow. Ah, of course. I was told exactly where you are, but you're still hidden enough that I missed that. Well done. It's only practical. Speaking of practical, it looks like the hat is getting a practical lesson on how grabby young Canador women are, Dong says with an amused tone, and the laughter comes back over the comms. There's a slight vibration in Dong's pocket, and he pulls out a smaller, much more limited communicator. Text only. I got their frequency bike.